Hello, Ranger fans. Nick Zararis of the Liberty Blue podcast here. And the Rangers signed Vincent Trocheck, formerly of the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers, to a genuinely exorbitant free agent contract, well within that first 5 minute window of free agency when it opens. Molly Walker of the New York Post had reported late last night and about 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning that the Rangers would be interested in Vincent Trocheck and that it looked like these two parties would come to an agreement. 7 years times $5.6 million. So naturally, I don't like this signing. Flat out. I do not like this signing for the Rangers for a handful of reasons. Most importantly, it doesn't get them any closer. We talked about this on the show on Monday. Andrew and I, we talked about it that there is one second line center is not going to get this team that much closer to anything concrete. As much as we would like to just assume that the kids, whether we talk about Hedel, Kako, Lafreniere, Vitaly Kravtsov, Brendan Othman, even maybe making the team this year, none of those guys has ever put up a 50-point NHL, a 60-point NHL season. And that's what they're going to be asking of these guys if that's it. If Trocheck is the one big signing, and I'm not going to complain about Louis Domingue right now, but if you sign Vincent Trocheck to that contract, that tells everybody a few things. Number one, you think you're ready to compete this year because you couldn't afford to wait another year for your young guys maybe to hit. And signing Vinny Trocheck to be your second line center to replace Ryan Strome, you are saying, okay, we think we're going to be good again this year. So we cannot afford to waste one more season of the primes of our more expensive players. Okay, fine. Signing Trocheck to that deal gives you basically no cap flexibility. It's why the Rangers picked the cheapest backup goalie they could possibly get in Domingue for $775,000 for the next two seasons. They still need to sign Capo Caco, who's a restricted free agent this summer. And next summer is when things really get complicated because next summer, the Rangers are going to be in this same perilous financial situation, and they are only going to have $5 million, $6 million, maybe, to sign Keandre Miller and Alexi Lafreniere, who, by all accounts, should have good year threes together. And if they do, the Rangers are really going to be in a real pinch. It was great that they were able to get rid of Patrick Nemeth today. That saved them a little bit of money. But what's the plan here? It's the most important thing I've harped on through 5 episodes of the show. What is the plan? Do the Rangers think they're ready to compete this year? Okay, if they think they're ready to compete this year, there's no kid line playing 13 minutes a night at 13 minutes a night. There isn't. There just isn't. That means Hedel is going to be the third line center because they signed Trocheck. Kako is going to move up into that top six, and one of Lafreniere or Kreider is going to move to the right. The third line still needs to be filled out. And don't tell me it's Barclay Goodrow, it's Sammy Blais, it's Vitaly Kravtsov, unless you're going to play Kravtsov with other guys who have skill. And don't tell me it's Tyler Mott. Do not tell me the third line's plan is Barclay Goodrow, Tyler Mott, and Sammy Blais. That is a bad third line in today's NHL. Nowhere near enough offensive upside. The Trocheck signing is fine for right now, but all of the subsequent moves that signing Trocheck to such a long-term contract does, that's why I do not like this contract. The player is fine. Trocheck is basically what Ryan Strome was. He's just a little more expensive. Don't believe what everybody is telling you about Trocheck being a great two-way player. He's an average defensive forward. He's below one standard deviation, so he's within, a couple percentage of the mean in most of the major defensive metrics, whether it be scoring chances against, expected goals against, high danger chances against. He's a fine NHL player. He'll probably put up a good career high year this first year playing with Panarin because he's never played with anybody that good. But I don't like this signing because it is going to make the Rangers make harder decisions going forward, and I do not trust Chris Drury to make those decisions. More to come on another episode of the show next week. Maybe a Twitter Spaces sometime later Wednesday night or on Thursday when a little more of the dust settles. Until then, this was the Liberty Blue Pod emergency drop. I'm Nick Zararis. You can follow me on Twitter at Nick Zararis. You can follow the show on all the major social media platforms at Liberty Blue Pod, except on YouTube, which is Liberty Blue Podcast on YouTube. You can follow Andrew at Chelney Andrew, Chelney, on Twitter. Andrew has his thoughts. I have mine. We'll see you guys next week.